Welcome to this RaMa-Scene user guide tutorial. My name is Franco Donati. I'm a PhD student at Leiden University Center for Environmental Sciences at the Department of Industrial Ecology. RaMa-Scene is a EU-funded project through the EIT Raw Materials, and it's developed in collaboration with Fraunhofer, TU Delft, and Vito and Leiden University. But let's get to the platform and discover what the different features offer. We go to www.ramascene.eu, and we see that on the landing page we have multiple buttons that we can click on, an open tool button and a tool button. These buttons take us to the main platform where we can do analysis and modeling of environmental input-output data. We have an about section with a few words about the project, a method section which explains the outstanding features of the platform. If you click on read more on each of these panels, you are taken to a more in-depth explanation of what everything means, and you're more than welcome to explore all these features. And then we have a deliverable section and a contact section with in the deliverable section we will have soon all the deliverables, the written deliverables of the project, and then the contact section contains all our contact information of the different partners who collaborated in the development of this platform. And then we have a feedback section, and from here you're able to leave any comments or report a bug that you might have, or get in touch with us should you have any additional questions. But then having explained this, let's get to the platform. Let's look at what we have and what one can do. So we click on Open Tool, and we're taken to this page. It's a six-panel screen. You can see that we have a selection menu over here on the left. This allows us to select different types of data, different elements in input-output tables in XIO-base, and display under two types of visualization. So we have the tree map and the geo map. We will see the geo map very soon, and then select what kind of indicators we want to explore. Then we have a scenario modeling. From here you are able to specify the coordinates for values that you want to change in the input-output tables, and specify it by how much. For instance, here you have you might want to change a specific set of coordinates by certain values, so change the values that are associated with them, and so to make scenarios. Then we have a main view here in the center. Here you are able to visualize any data, any results that you might have collected through the selection menu, or you might have modeled through the scenario modeling panel. And you have a comparison view. Here you can display other results to compare to the main view. So in this case, we only have a selection at the moment, only one set of results, and so we can't really compare. But this is what it does. So you have the split view that allows you to look at two different results at the same time, and make conclusions, of course. In addition to that, here down in the main view you also have your query parameters, and here it's explained exactly what it is that you selected or you have modeled. So you have a general overview of what it is that you have done. As you saw before, in order to show things in the comparison view, I clicked something on here in the analysis queue. Well, the analysis queue is just a panel that allows you to look at the previous results that you have called, the previous results of your previous analysis. You have multiple features here. You have you could, for instance, as we said before, you can click on the comparison button here, and it will appear here. You can download the data if needed, so you can further analyze it, perhaps in Excel. So you can open it like this. And then you have a delete button, and this will just delete the entry. You can see it. here every time. It will ask you every time whether you're sure if you want to delete the job. And then you have a delete button. Let's actually reload the page once again. And you have a delete all button. This will clear all your previous results. You also have a resource panel, and here you have different types of materials. So you have the didactics, where the manual exercises are. Then you have the raw materials information system. Here it just takes you to the EU raw material information system with a lot of information on raw material supply chains, critical materials, circular economy, and environmental and social sustainability, among many other things. This can be useful for your analysis. And then you have other resources, and these are usually other platforms that could be interesting to use in combination with the RaMa-Scene platform in order to get more insights out of your results. For instance, here you have resource trade, which is a very interesting platform that shows you the global trade of resources. But let's close this, and but yeah, so let's try to use the different panels and see how the platform really works. So if we look at the selection menu, we have a production and final consumption view. The production view allows you to look at what kind of emissions or what kind of indicator you have selected, like the amount of impact that a specific manufacturing activity causes. So for instance, it can be all the emissions that are emitted at one specific manufacturing activity. For instance, the emissions that could happen during the manufacturing of concrete, for instance. And on the other hand, the final consumption view perspective allows you to look at data look at the impacts along the entire supply chain of a specific product. So that will include all the different manufacturing steps that are included in a supply chain, plus all the services that are included, etc. Then we have visualizations. You can select between tree map and geomap, and as you can see, if you select geomap, the panel changes a little bit, and you're allowed to it tries to show you which type of selections you need to make in order to visualize a geomap. The tree map, usually what it shows is the breakdown of specific product categories according to your indicators, whereas the geomap, and the tree map will always be in percentage. You also have the absolute values if you over the elements. The visualization in the center right now, that's a tree map. And the geomap, which we'll see in a second, on the other hand, allows you to look at the distribution of specific product category or an aggregate of categories geographically, so the geographic distribution. We then have data for between 1995 and 2011 of ExioBase. We also need to say that the ExioBase version that we use on this platform is not a traditional ExioBase version. In fact, we use data that is being modified so to have secondary raw materials available in the input-output tables. So this ExioBase version 3.3 SM, which stands for secondary material. Then you have you can select the year. We select the year 2011 in this case. We can select a region. Here you can select a total, so the aggregation of all the regions, or a specific what we call a continent, even though it's not let's say geographically correct. It just allows us to group countries according to specific geographic areas. So we have Europe, Middle East, America, Asia Pacific, and Africa. And then if you open again, for instance, one of these continents, you can see that there is a breakdown, all the breakdown of the of ExioBase, all the 49 country and aggregated regions of ExioBase. So in this case we click on total, and then we can select multiple things. We can select all products of Xaiobase, all 200 products. You can select all sectors, so these are the aggregates of these product categories according to specific sectors, or all subsectors. So these are also like smaller portion of a sector that have been broken down. Or you can, if you want to analyze just one specific element, you can also do a smart search. You can click on the field here and select products, and for instance we can look for motor vehicles, and you can click on it, or you can look for basic Aryan, and you can click on it, and of course you can select the multiple elements here, for instance, like this. We eliminate this selection, and for the moment we do all sectors, and as an indicator, and you can select an indicator. For indicators we have multiple options. We have the total product output, which is the raw sum of all the transactions that are occurring between industries, and the transactions that are occurring in final demand for a specific product, or for multiple products, of course. Then we have value added, and it shows us many different elements. So you have value added is GDP for a specific sector. But if you open it up, you can see that there are also other elements. You have taxes less subsidies on products purchased. We have other net taxes, compensation of employees, operating surplus, etc., etc. Then we have employment total. So here you have different levels of employment that you can select from, and this is expressed in monetary terms. And then you have the employment hours, also differentiated in types of employment, but expressed in hours. You have greenhouse gas emissions. So here you have all if you click on greenhouse gas emission total, it will show you the CO2 equivalent, of course, but then you can also break it down to their specific components. So for instance, if you want to analyze only I don't know, CO2 emissions from non-combustion, or methane from waste, you can do so. Then we have domestic extraction used, and you have a total, and then you have metal ores and non-metallic minerals. That is interesting, because you can really look at how much a specific economic activity is responsible for the extraction of certain ores. And then you have, well, other interesting things like vulnerable employment, and expressed in monetary terms, and employment hours. But yeah, let's stick with greenhouse gas emissions. Let's stay with the production perspective. Then we click on Analyze, and we can delete the previous, the default one, and we click on this view, and you see that here you have the breakdown of greenhouse gas emissions that occur during these manufacturing activities. Then we can do a visualization with the geomap, so that you can see how exactly this is done. So you have a geographic aggregation level. This allows us to select whether we want to display our geographic distribution by country, or by macro region, continent, as we said earlier, or by the total. You can also here select the year that you want to analyze. If you click on aggregation level, for instance, country, and then you click on total, then it will automatically select all the countries that are included in this selection, which is all the 49 countries in Xaiobase, countries and macro regions. If you do continent, it's pretty much the same. You click on total, and it will select all the 5 continents that we have included in our platform. If you do total, if you select total, it will just do just the total aggregation of countries. You can also select just one country. Can we eliminate this? Okay, yeah. You can also select just one specific country, or more, for instance, like this. But let's do country total in this case. So we select all the countries in XIO-base. We do also for the product here. We're going to do total. As you can see from the tree map that we looked at before, you were able to select one single country or aggregation of countries, or the total. And you could select multiple products. With the geomap, it's the other way around. You can select multiple regions because you could look at a geographic distribution, but you're only allowed to select one single country, one single product, or aggregation of product, or the total. We also do greenhouse gas emissions here. We click on Analyze, and if we click on our entry on the analysis queue, then we can see that we have the distribution of greenhouse gas emissions for all the product categories in XIO-base, and we can see the greenhouse gas impacts caused by all the economic activities. Then so we can, now that we have these two selections, one interesting thing to do is also putting this analysis in comparison. So you can, for instance, analyze a specific product and look at what is its geographic distributions in terms of emissions. So that's an interesting results. But once you have this, these results, you can also download this information, as we said earlier. For instance, you can just open it in Excel or LibreOffice in this case, or you can or later on you can model it if you specify some modeling features. So now let's play with the scenario modeling panel. And don't forget that if you're lost at any point during the use of the platform, you can find your way back by simply clicking on the pale blue dots that are spread out in the platform. This will help you with understanding what each element is. So if you're lost, you can just click on it, and then you understand what it is that you're working with. So the scenario modeling panel allows you to specify coordinates, very much like what you did before in the selection menu. But this time you can select specific coordinate, then specify also by how much you want the values that are intersected by these coordinates, how much they're changed. So if you select on product, you go on well, let's do for instance, we want to change I don't know, the basic iron that is consumed by all the manufacturing activities. So as you can see here, actually from the consumed by, this allows us to select a point in which the product that we selected is being consumed. So you can see, you can look at product, you can think of products as so this field over here as the supply of a specific product, whereas consumed by, you can think of it as the manufacturing activity that is consuming that product. So who is consuming this product. And here you have a final consumption, but you also have all the different economic activities, all the different product categories of the intra-industry transaction table. So in this case, we select manufacturing. We go on originating from, well, let's do total, and also consumed where total as well. So originating from, we think of, it refers to the origin of the product category that we looked at before, so which regions it's coming from, and then consumed where, in which region the manufacturing activity, for instance, is occurring. So in this case, we can do 30. Well, let's increase it by 30% or decrease it by 30%. We'll do a simulation of reduction of this product category, and we add the change. You can do this iteratively. So if you have more than one. If you have more complex policies that you would like to simulate, or technological improvements, you can do so. So we, in this case, let's increase, for instance, the secondary steel. So we can always also in manufacturing, we'll keep all the same features, all the same specifications, but we'll just change the technical change coefficient. And let's say the secondary steel for treatment is increased by 40%. So we are kind of simulating a situation in which we start using much more secondary steel for treatment that is coming from treatment, and as a result we're using less primary steel. If you make a mistake and you insert a wrong scenario modeling specification, you can remove last, and then you will delete the last entry, or you can clear all settings if needed. But in our case, we actually want to use these settings and see what happens to our results. So we save the settings, and as you can see in the analysis queue, now we have a little box that appeared that tells us that now we can model by clicking on the M button. So in order to do the modeling, the way that I recommend you to work, you want to first put data that you're modeling in the comparison view, and then click on the M button, because otherwise, if you click on just on the N button, it will just generate new results, and then you're not going to be able to retrieve the original selection unless you redo it, which is also a possibility. Yeah, it depends on the needs. There is something that we will fix hopefully in the future, but for the moment this is how the platform works. But so if you click on modeling, it will take a little bit. It also shows a little box telling you that it might take anywhere between 2 to 10 minutes. Now we're waiting for a little bit to generate results. In the meantime, you can do other things. For instance, you can go look at other platform. Make sure that you don't refresh the page, because if you refresh the page, you will lose your results. Now, okay, great. So now we have our results that are available. So as you can see, the moment that something is being modeled, here you have a scenario modeling results here as opposed to analysis results. So it will show that the results have been modified. So you have scenario modeling results. You have the sum. If you look at, for instance, here the sum, you can see that it's 30.7817, and the original was 30.8379. So there's been a reduction of a certain amount here in greenhouse gas emissions due to the implementation of the scenario modeling settings. You can see that here you also have scenario modeling parameters, which shows the kind of changes you made in your data. If you download the data again and you open it on Excel, you will also be able to see the modeling details here. You're always able to retrieve this kind of information. You can also apply this on the GeoMap. With this, the explanation, the user guide tutorial is completed. I hope you enjoyed this explanation. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to get in touch with us. And other than that, happy modeling, and please do let us know if there is if you find any bugs, or if you find any issues with the platform. Thank you so much for watching the tutorial again, and have a good day.